Shalom, family. It's good to see you all. I have an update on Jenna Ryan. She had to go before the judge for sentencing today, and she got 60 days behind bars. Now, we know that's nothing when you compare it to what a Black woman would get in jail. It's a far cry from really an appropriate sentence. I mean, this woman literally incited violence. And so she got a slap on the wrist. Although, there's jail time, it's still insufficient for what happened. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. So I have a video I want you to watch. Okay. Please give me a one if you can see the screen. Shalom to everybody in the chat. Okay. Thank you so much, y'all. All right, here we go. Okay, never mind.
Any reaction? I should have done a comment right now. Any reaction at all? One question. I'm sorry.
House Select Committee. Now, that's between us and the House Select Committee. At all times when this first came up, Ms. Ryan has been very cooperative with the government. She realized she did something wrong. She was going to plead guilty to it. We asked the Department of Justice to go ahead and give her a plea agreement immediately. It took them 6 months to come up with an actual written agreement that was approved by the Department of Justice. She came in and pled guilty. Feels very remorseful for what happened. And if you had been in the courtroom, you know that the judge said he's actually sentencing her as a deterrent to other people. Unfortunately, because she was something of a public face of January 6th, she'd been punished as a warning to other people. It goes way beyond anything that she did. We're better than appointed that she got incarceration. What's that?
Did she denounce what happened on January 6th?
Oh, of course. But at the time, she thought it was just a public demonstration. She's been to one of those in Texas before. It was strictly peaceful. She had no way of knowing that this was going on, what was going on down there. Washington is a place you come to demonstrate. The judge said that he welcomes that. The First Amendment should live here like nowhere else. And so certainly, she had the right to be down there. She shouldn't have gone inside. And that's all that she did.
2 minutes.
Yeah, she walked in for 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
But unfortunately, there was a demonstration inside the Capitol. You can't do that. But I'm disappointed that her sentence included incarceration, and only not because of what she did, but because of who she is. The fact that she's a public figure to some extent, that's the reason she was incarcerated.
Let me ask you this then. The judge clearly said, Ms. Ryan, that you put yourself in that position. You made yourself a face of January 6th by your social media post. So I just wondered, do you now regret some of those things you said, some of those things you posted?
Absolutely. Of course, I regret.
But this should scare all of you. If you appear on television or in the media, you're making protected speech. And would you like to think that the government is going to put you in jail because people say, I heard you talk about something and I don't like what you said? They conceded there was nothing that she said that was not protected by the First Amendment. But the judge said, because of what you said and the fact that in the immediate days after January 6th, she seemed not to be ashamed of it, and she was full of all this vim and vigor from being involved. He thought that was she should be made an example of, and that's general deterrence. But I think that a free press should be afraid of that kind of thing. If you're reporting things that go on in the news and you dare make it look like you may agree with it, could you be incarcerated? Because you seem to agree with something, with protesters of some kind. I think this is a step in the wrong direction.
And respectfully, I do.
That's what I would have to say right now.
I just one last thing, because I appreciate and respect the fact that you're sitting here answering some of these questions. The judge said the reason he penalized your client for making those statements was because it demonstrated a lack of remorse
In the
for what
immediate
she
days
did.
after it.
And so I just wonder one more time, do you have a statement of remorse that you would like to offer, Ms. Ryan?
Of course, I walked into the Capitol for 2 minutes, and I'm remorseful of that. I'm disappointed that I am being used as an example in my incarceration, because other people that walked in for 2 minutes may not have the same thing. But because I'm a public person and I have a Twitter account, I'm being punished for that. And because the media was doing what y'all are doing right now, I'm being punished for this, and it's actually causing my incarceration. And I think that is a travesty. I think that everybody should be able to tweet without being persecuted and treated like crap. So it's, watch what you tweet, because if you tweet, you can go to jail, basically.
Do you regret tweeting that you weren't going to jail?
Well, I didn't think I was at the time, and that's because they had some discussions about it. And yes, I regret ever tweeting, but it's a free country, and I'm allowed to say, it's free speech. And so I really believe in free speech, and I've learned so much through this process, and that's all I have to say.
Anything you want to say to the internal box about her that day?
Okay. First of all, Jenna and her lawyer are full of shit. Okay, let me be the first to say it. So let's get into this, because these folks are full of shit. Number one, that's one of those, I know I was there, but watch what you say on Twitter. How is that remorse? How is that remorse? And she never, and you can see the reporters took it easy on her, because you notice they didn't get into the meat and guts of what she said. She said she wasn't going to jail because she was white, blonde, had a job, and had a future. You notice they didn't touch on that? Okay? It wasn't just a matter of free speech. What she was saying, that her being white absolved her from any prison in this country because of her skin. So what she said tells me she's still in denial and not taking full accountability for what she said. All right, that was her own doing. That was not Twitter and being careful about what you say on Twitter. No, you brought all of that into the equation when you went out there running your mouth saying because you're white, you won't go to jail. So what's going on with her now is 100% her own doing. But no, what she just said, I don't see that as accountability. Oh, well, it's free speech and she should be able to say it. Okay, well, you did. And now you're paying the price for what you said. Okay, so, all right, so this was WUSA Channel 9 CBS that you just saw. That was the video. So we know she is a Texas real estate agent who made the claim that her blonde hair and white skin would keep her out of jail. She was sentenced this morning in court for 60 days behind bars for her role in the January 6th Capitol riot. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper told Jenna Ryan of Frisco, Texas, it was clear she knew what she was doing when she left her hotel to travel to the Capitol after watching coverage of the riot on Fox News. You knew it when you walked out of your hotel room and said, "We're going to war." Okay, this is what she said. And we will be going to break windows. So this is what she said. Ryan and several friends, including Jason Hyland and Catherine Schwab, who had been charged for January 6th, took a private jet from Texas to attend former President Donald Trump's Stop the Steal rally on January 6th. At the Capitol, Ryan entered the building. Now, she act like, oh, I was only in there for 2 minutes. Yeah, but you broke the law when you went in there. It doesn't matter if you were there for 2 minutes, you were still there. Okay? And you were there inciting violence and smiling next to a broken window. She act like because she was in there for 2 minutes, she didn't break the law. You still broke the damn law. Okay? You still broke the law. All right. She also posed for a photo next to a broken window, which she posted the caption, "Window at the Capitol." And if the news doesn't stop lying about us, we're going to come after the studios next. So she's making an idle threat. Okay. So someone from Jordan Fisher, Jordan at Jordan on Record, he posted a tweet saying this defendant who began that morning by speaking of a prelude to war the DOJ says about Jenna Ryan. She indicated that she was willing to lay down her life to enter the Capitol because it was that important to her. Hashtag Capitol Riot. All right. So I don't understand how she's trying to say, oh, well, I was just speaking my mind. No, you were inciting a lot of violence in what you were saying. After returning to Texas, Ryan did a number of interviews with the media, including one with NBC, in which she claimed she felt like a martyr. So if you felt like a martyr for going up to the Capitol, how are you remorseful? You're not. You feel like a martyr, then you're not remorseful. And another with Fox, in which she described her presence at the Capitol as something noble. Ryan, who has a large social media following, also posted multiple times about her role in the riot, saying in one message, "I deserve a medal for what I did." In her infamous post, Ryan responded to another Twitter user that she was definitely not going to jail. "Sorry, I have blonde hair, white skin, a great job, a great future, and I'm not going to jail." So, all right. So you suggested Antifa was somehow involved. Remember how they were saying that the day after everything happened, all of a sudden those weren't Trump supporters. That was Antifa up there. And we even heard some of them would even put BLM was up there. That wasn't Trump supporters. It was BLM. And we clearly saw a lily white crowd up there, but that's BLM, right? Okay, nice try. All right, so that post where she said she's definitely not going to jail because she's white, she posted that March 26, 2021. And she also said, "Sorry to rain on your hater parade. I did nothing wrong." In court Thursday, her attorney, Guy Womack, attempted to downplay the significance of her post. "She's a social butterfly," Womack said. All right, hold on. That's just repeating. Let me just turn that off. That happens with some of these news sites where the video will loop. Okay. So her attorney made an attempt to downplay, said she's a social butterfly, Womack said. She goes online and posts things. Cooper said he had to take those posts and the letter Ryan wrote to him that talked more about her social media following than her regret for what she did into account. But he also noted that it wasn't her post or her interviews that he was sentencing her for. No one is prosecuting for coming to Washington, Cooper said. No one is being prosecuted for the belief that the election was stolen. If you had the good sense not to leave your hotel room or not to go once you saw what happened, you wouldn't be there. In part because of the attention her own media appearance drew to the case, Cooper said, people would be looking to her sentence to see what the penalty was for attacking democratic institutions. I think that the sentence show them we take it seriously. Cooper ultimately agreed with the Justice Department. And I told y'all, when the Justice Department wrote that letter, that memo that said she needs to go to jail, I told y'all I knew she was going to jail. Now, it's one thing if the prosecutor was just saying it because you can always negotiate a deal with the prosecutors. But when the DOJ stepped in and said, put her butt in jail, and you see how the judge followed suit and did just what the DOJ recommended, put Jenna Ryan in jail. Now she's going. I knew that would make a difference. So Cooper ultimately agreed with the Justice Department recommended sentence and ordered Ryan to serve 60 days behind bars. She will also have to pay the standard $500 in restitution required in all January 6 misdemeanor plea deals. Ryan pled guilty in August to a Class B misdemeanor count of parading, demonstrating, and picketing in a Capitol building. She is one of more than 100 defendants who have now entered guilty pleas in connection to the riot. After sentencing Thursday, Ryan and her attorney spoke to WUSA 9. So you saw that interview, and the man that was asking questions, the reporter, his name was Eric Flack. She told him she was remorseful for entering the Capitol for 2 minutes. It doesn't matter if it was 2 minutes. You still went in there illegally. They act like that makes such a huge difference. It really don't. It don't make any difference. You had no business being in there, especially rioting, and you took part in trashing and pooping and peeing all over the place like some wild animal that came out of the woods, you know? So she didn't sound too remorseful in that interview. That's just my opinion. So she also went on to say, I am disappointed that I am being used as an example because other people that walked in for 2 minutes may not have the same thing, but because I am a public person and I have a Twitter account, I am being punished for that. Ryan said, no, that's not why. And just from her making that statement shows a lack of accountability. You know, these folks have that problem. They don't know how to just say they're sorry and move the hell on. The longer they talk, the more you see the lack of concern for what they did, or, I was just giving my opinion. No, you were inciting violence. And they really took it easy on her because they didn't even bring that up. How she was inciting all kinds of violence up in there. Okay. And as far as her being a public figure, I never heard of Jenna Ryan until the Capitol insurrection. I don't think too many people ever heard of her before. I didn't know who she was prior to. So I don't know how much of a big public figure was she. Maybe locally she was, but not on a national scale. Okay. Because the media are doing what you're all doing now, I'm being punished for this. No, you're not being punished because the media told your story. You're being punished because you were braggadocious about going up there. And again, you used your whiteness as a means of saying because of that, you weren't going to jail. So she pretty much I think that's a travesty. I think that everyone should be able to tweet without being persecuted and treated like crap. Well, try being black. We're treated like crap every day. She asked if she wish she hadn't posted some of the things she did. Ryan said yes. Yes, I regret ever tweeting, she said. Yeah, because your butt got busted. She got busted for what she said online with all that because she's white and I'm not going to go to jail. I'm certain I'm not going to jail. You know, that's what landed her in this position. Had she not gone out being all braggadocious, posting pictures of herself up there and being completely confident that she was untouchable, she could have skirted by with probation like the majority of them got. Probation. That's it. Okay, probation. So, y'all, please tell me what you think in the comment section on this one. I still think she got off easy with just 60 little measly days, you know? And I bet every dime in my wallet, they ain't gonna put her ass out in Gen Pop. And she gonna spend those 60 days probably far removed from Gen Pop in some isolated area. But you know, her sentencing is white privilege. It really is. You let one of us incite violence and illegally enter a building. Look at that black man that was not even there. He just said a few things, but he was not even physically at the Capitol. And he got what, 2 years for not even being there? And she was there, incited violence, went in there, posted all that crap online, and she gets 60 days. And you tell me something ain't wrong with this legal system? It is the most corrupt on the face of the earth. That's what it is. All right, everybody, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you so much for being here, and be on the lookout for my videos that I will be posting for Friday. Shalom, family.